Good evening, President Carver, Vice President Pack, members of the governing board, Superintendent Finch, Mrs. Taylor, district staff, and our room full of special guests tonight. Welcome to our DVUSD Awards and Recognition. Not only does this award program celebrate our outstanding schools, but it also provides Arizona administrators with the framework for exemplary school self-assessment. The A+ School of Excellence Award boosts public confidence in recognizing schools, inspiring stronger parent and community involvement, and even creating a positive economic impact in some communities. Schools that earn the A+ School of Excellence Award stand out for their excellent dedication to providing exceptional education to students in Arizona, implementing practices that go far beyond the standards. The A+ Award transcends test scores and letter grades, examining every facet of school success. DVUSD is now the proud home of 25 schools named A+ Schools of Excellence. Home of 25 schools named A+ Schools of Excellence since the program's inception. Two of our schools were named A+ Schools of Excellence for the very first time in 2025, including the first school tonight we are honoring, Highland Lake School. The school's principal, Mark Anderson, had this to say about the first ever A+ award for the Highland Lake School Bears. On behalf of our incredible students, staff, parents, and community, we extend our deepest and most sincere gratitude to the Arizona Educational Foundation for this extraordinary recognition. To be named an A+ School of Excellence is not just an award. It's a validation of our shared vision, our collective hard work, and unwavering commitment to providing exceptional learning environments for every single child who walks through our doors. This award is not about any single individual. It belongs to all of us. It reflects the collaborative spirit that defines Highland Lake School. It shines a light on our teachers who go above and beyond, crafting engaging lessons, fostering critical thinking, and nurturing unique talents of each student. It acknowledges the support staff who tirelessly work behind the scenes, ensuring our school runs smoothly and efficiently. It celebrates the students who bring their curiosity, their enthusiasm, and their willingness to learn each and every day. And it recognizes the parents and community members who partner with us, believing in our mission and investing in the future of our children. Today, we celebrate this incredible achievement. Tomorrow, we will continue our journey inspired and energized by this recognition to ensure that Highland Lake School remains a beacon of excellence for generations to come. Congratulations, A+ School of Excellence, Highland Lake School. Our final A+ School of Excellence honoree for 2025 is Stetson Hill School. Brittany Dyer-Hurden, Stetson Hill School principal, had this to say about their third recognition as an A+ School of Excellence. Stetson Hill School is proud to be recognized by the Arizona Educational Foundation as an A+ School of Excellence for the third time. This prestigious honor reflects an unwavering commitment of our incredible teachers and staff, who bring their passion, purpose, and excellence to their work each and every day as they live out our mission: inspire minds, cultivate success, foster excellence. Throughout innovative instruction and meaningful relationships, our team creates a safe, inclusive, and engaging learning environment where all students are empowered to reach their full potential. Our students rise to the occasion with determination, curiosity, and a love of learning that make us proud to be stallions. This award also highlights the strength and unity of our entire school community. At Stetson Hills, families, staff, and community partners come together to support every child every step of the way. Whether it's volunteering in classrooms, attending school events, or collaborating to support student successes, our community involvement is a vital part of who we are. We are deeply honored to receive the A+ distinction and celebrate this recognition as a reflection of the heart, hard work, and stallion pride that defines Stetson Hills. Congratulations, A+ School of Excellence, Stetson Hills School. Next up is a speech winner who proved her abilities at the national level. The American Academy of International Culture and Education hosted their annual national speech competition on March 23rd. All students enrolled in a Chinese language program in a state-registered, accredited school were invited to participate. The Academy received 1,000 videos for this competition, and only 14 students were chosen to participate. Boulder Creek High School's freshman, Eve Curtis, was one of the short 14 lists of students invited to participate in this competition. The national speech requirements included coherent and logical sequence, relatability to the audience, clear and accurate pronunciation, skillful use of voice, good structure, smooth and fluent rate of speaking, a rhythm and cadence that reflected the speaker's emotion and thoughts, confidence, rich vocabulary, and proficient sentence expressions, and proper clothing and body language, as well as correct responses to follow-up questions. The first round consisted of a 2 to 3 minute recorded video of a speech. Following the submission, the results were determined, and if participants were able to compete to the next round, they would move on. The competition itself had 4 judges. Each contestant delivered their speech in a randomized order, and then they had to answer 2 questions from a random judge. A week later, those winners were announced, being 1 through 3rd place, and winners of honorable mentions. There is 1 first place winner, 2 second place winners, and 3 third place winners. The rest are all considered honorable mention. During this year's competition, students were asked to deliver a 2 to 3 minute speech on the topic of exploring the wonderful journey of language and culture. The goal is to share how students understood their integrated Chinese culture during their Chinese language learning and how this experience has transformed their worldview. For Eve, the national speech competition will always be unforgettable. She explained her experience in this way. It took months of preparation and hard work, writing my script, getting coaching from my teacher, Mrs. Draw, memorizing and drilling it over and over and over again. Preparing for the speech competition was a lot more than just memorizing. It included researching answers to potential questions from the judges, matching hand gestures and facial expressions to the words, being sure to stay within my time limit parameters, building confidence, and incorporating performance qualities. As part of my speech, I chose to recite an ancient Chinese poem. Ms. Draw encouraged me to transform the poem into a performance. that resembled a poem recitation and Chinese with full emotion, rhythm, and emphasis on certain words, some of the words louder and longer, and with body language. This portion felt more like acting than just giving a speech. With over 1,000 videos entered in this competition, I felt honored to even be considered one of 14 finalists. Then to win the whole competition? Wow, I was humbled and grateful for the opportunity. I'm honored to continue Boulder Creek's amazing track record and being the third national championship in a row representing BCHS. I am grateful for Mrs. Draw for the way she helped, coached, and encouraged me, and my teachers in the Mandarin Immersion program at Gavilan Peak, who helped me develop my love of Mandarin, Chinese culture, and even public speaking. And then to you, Deer Valley Unified School District, for providing me programs that give kids like me such stretching and enhancing experiences. You can catch Eve on the latest episode of the Soup Scoop podcast, hosted by our very own DVUSD Superintendent, Dr. Finch. Her episode is being released this week. Tune into Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube to see just how great she's done. Congratulations to the National Chinese Speech Competition winner, Eve Curtis. Yet again. The goal of the Vocabulary Bowl is to master as many words as possible during the competition. To correctly master a word, a student receives roughly 10 questions about the same word, and once they demonstrate a true understanding, it's considered a mastered word. Vocab.com, which hosts the bowl, identifies high school and middle school to compete, which Sierra Verde is considered for the purpose of this competition. They had the most mastered words in the state. Actually, Sierra Verde not only had the most mastered words in the middle school division, their students had the most mastered words of all schools in Arizona, including all the high schools, with a total of 10,054 mastered words. During this competition, Sierra Verde fifth graders answered a total of 193,443 questions, resulting in a total of 9,520 words mastered. The totals these students accounted for was 95% of the words of all of Sierra Verde. Due to this incredible amount of words by the amazing group of fifth graders, Miss Orr, a fifth grade teacher in Sierra Verde, was named a top teacher. This ranked Sierra Verde's fifth grade team 14th in the entire nation in the Vocabulary Bowl. The following top 3 students made incredible contributions towards Sierra Verde's total competition score. Andy Ekstrom mastered 600 words and answered nearly 6,000 questions. Nadisha Mara mastered 496 words and answered more than 11,000 questions. Lorenzo Shipley mastered 464 words and answered more than 5,500 questions. Here is a quote from Andy, Sierra Verde's first place word master. Winning the Vocabulary Bowl means so much to me. Last time we won, it was so cool because at the board meeting, we got to be recognized for our achievement. I think we might have some suck-ups in the room. Just wait till he hears what he says about his teacher. I love vocab so much. I might even do some next year's Vocabulary Bowl. I'm very happy to be here. I do so much work on vocab.com that I had over 180 words by the 3rd day. Also, Mrs. Orr is an awesome teacher for assigning us vocabulary homework. Thank you for recognizing our accomplishments and our grade. Congratulations to Sierra Verde's 5th grade team, the Spring 2025 Vocabulary.com Vocabulary Bowl champions, Sierra Verde STEM Academy's 5th grade. This school year marks the 20th year DVUSD has been purchasing student artwork for the purpose of establishing a permanent art collection. For 2025, 5 pieces of art from the district's art showcase that recently ran at the outlets of Anthem were selected to join this permanent collection. The works that were selected will be on display in the lobby outside of the governing boardroom from 2025 to 2026 school year, and then put on a permanent display throughout our district office. This year, the pieces were selected based on impressive skills of the high school artists by our guest judge, Deputy Superintendent Dr. Gail Galligan. Our first artist of the night is Boulder Creek High School senior Alexander Williams. As he wraps up his senior year at Boulder Creek, Alexander unfortunately couldn't make it here tonight because of prior commitments this evening, but he's thankful for this recognition. Dr. Galligan selected the piece because of the light that shined from the subject's eyes, as well as the captivating expression that seemed to portray that the subject on this piece was looking at something truly beautiful. Alex had this to say about drawing red eyes and the process of creating it. I would like to thank the governing board and the district for giving me this opportunity and awarding me a Superintendent Art Award for my drawing, Red Eyes. Earning this award my senior year has meant a lot to me, and I am honored to receive it. In preparation for this art show, I was very particular about what I was going to draw. The drawing took me 10 collective hours to create in both graphite and colored pencil. I hope everyone enjoys the piece that I've created. I'm sorry I couldn't be there in person to accept this award, but I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Congratulations to Superintendent Art Purchase Awardee, Alexander Williams. Our next artist, Riley Tabor, a sophomore at Mountain Ridge High School, also could not be here tonight as she is demonstrating her creative abilities in another way as part of Mountain Ridge High School's school show, but we wanted to recognize her painting skills. For this piece, Dr. Galligan was amazed by her vibrant use of color that made her feel as if she was looking into the depths of a deep blue ocean with pops of tropical colors. Riley had this to say about painting the blue fish masterpiece. I'm sorry I couldn't be there tonight to express my thanks in person. I had plans for the school show already, and I didn't have time to be here. Thank you so much for this honor. I'm still learning the ins and outs of using paint and art, so I was very happy to be selected as a Superintendent Art Purchase Award. It has made me want to work with paint again and see where it takes me. I normally enjoy doing art in my own time, just as a hobby, so I was very surprised to find out I had gotten this award. I'm very grateful for this, and I look forward to creating more art. Congratulations to Superintendent Art Purchase Awardee, Riley Tabor. Carly Nowicki, a senior at Deer Valley High School, created her ceramic pumpkin masterpiece, Blue Spice, in the matter of a week. She was initially inspired to create the piece for her mom, but when the offer to sell her artwork came about, she couldn't pass it up. It was the cuteness and the detail work and total completion of the ceramic piece that sold Dr. Galligan on this piece for her choice. She even noted that aside from the piece being just startling, it's not often that a ceramic piece has the detailing and work completed on the bottom like Carly did. She impressed Dr. Galligan quite a bit. Carly had this reflection upon winning the Superintendent Art Purchase Award. To be able to win this award and sell my art piece as a student in high school is really amazing and one of a kind. It was really fun and a challenging process to make. Getting the color and shading just right was quite a challenge, but I'm so happy with the way it turned out. Congratulations to Superintendent Art Purchase Awardee, Carly Nowicki. Our next artist, Chloe McCauley, a junior at Sandra Day O'Connor High School, developed her winning drawing of a BMW. The drawing caught Dr. Galligan's eye from across the exhibit as she noticed the artistry of the chrome shading and details of the car. She also picked the car piece out specifically for Dr. Finch, as she knows he's really heavily into cars. Here's Chloe's reflection on having her piece selected as a Superintendent Art Purchase Award. Honestly, I was shocked to hear that I had won the Superintendent Art Award for my drawing. It's easy to be proud of your own art, but you never know how anyone else is going to like it. I don't know if I'm going to make a career out of art, but I do know that it calms me down and I love creating it. Congratulations to Superintendent Art Purchase Awardee, Chloe McCauley. Our final artist of the night is Caitlin Kaczynski, a freshman at Barry Goldwater High School. She feels so honored to receive the next Superintendent Art Award for her photography, entitled Palm's Perspective. It was the perspective of her photograph that captured the eye of guest judge Dr. Galligan to select the piece for purchase. Caitlin explained that taking pictures has always been something she enjoyed doing. For her, it represents not only hard work, but also the passion she has for photography. Earning the Superintendent Art Purchase Award is a moment of validation and encouragement to keep pushing forward. She's incredibly honored to have been selected as an Art Purchase Awardee. Caitlin prepared for her photograph entry by asking her mentor and peers for their opinion about certain photographs so she could submit her very best work. Congratulations to Superintendent Art Purchase Awardee, Caitlin Kaczynski. That concludes tonight's award and recognition. The regularly scheduled board meeting will begin in just a at 7 p.m.
is absent. Dr. Zerbach, could you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence, please? Thank you. May I have a motion to adopt tonight's agenda?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Any opposed? You need some votes? Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. First item on tonight's agenda, 3A. Dr. Beck.
I move that we approve the annual K-12 use of
3A.
We do it backwards. Remember?
Take two. I move that the governing board accept administration's recommendation for the principal of Sunset Ridge School.
Second.
Thank you. Dr. Z.
Thank you, President Carver, members of the board, and Dr. Finch and community. It is administration's pleasure to bring forth Megan Piles as our recommendation for the principal at Sunset Ridge. Megan has much experience in her previous years in education as a head principal in special education and also helping lead parent involvement initiatives. And we know that she will do a great job at Sunset Ridge, continuing the wonderful work that they already are doing. Thank you, Mr. Carver.
Thank you, Dr. Z. Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, all those in favor of the recommendation?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? 4-0. Welcome, Ms. Piles, to Deer Valley Unified School District. I'd like to share a few words with your adoring fans.
I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you, governing board members, as well as Dr. Finch for welcoming to Deer Valley, and I look forward to working with the Sunset Ridge community.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and pause the meeting for a few moments so that those of you who celebrate with Ms. Piles can join her out in the foyer for frivolity and myrrh.
Yeah, when you click on it, and then it goes away.
Thank you, everyone. Moving on to item 4A. Dr. Pack?
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to approve the annual K-12 use of facility field fee schedule for 2025-26.
Mr. Miglorino, are there any updates or changes to the previous presentation?
President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch, there are no changes to what was previewed 2 weeks ago, and would ask the board to consider the administrative recommendation to approve with the increases that we mentioned 2 weeks ago.
My apologies, I forgot to ask for a second. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miglorino. Any questions from the board for Mr. Miglorino on item 4A? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. On to item 4B, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to consider, discuss, amend if desired, and if deemed advisable, to adopt a resolution ordering and calling for a special budget override election to be held in and for the district and declaring the deadline for submitting arguments for and against the election to the Maricopa County School Superintendent School Elections Office as of August 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m.
We have a second.
Second.
I believe we have public comment. Okay.
The board invites public comment on the district's business in general and on any agenda item in specific. All speakers must observe the rules of decorum. Speakers must fill out a card listing name, address, and topic and hand it to the board secretary prior to the president calling the meeting to order. Speakers must make their comments in no more than 3 minutes. If necessary, to accommodate all speakers within the 30-minute overall limit, the board president may shorten each speaker's time. Constructive criticism is in order. Rudeness, vulgarity, disruptive conduct, or remarks disrespecting personal dignity are not in order, not be allowed. Under the Arizona Open Meeting Law, the governing board cannot discuss or act on any items not listed on the agenda. Board members may respond to criticism made by a speaker, ask staff to review a matter, or ask that a matter be put on a future agenda. Can I please have Julie Stockwell, Aaron Gerace, Shannon Threadgill, Catherine Smith, and Andrew Riley approach the microphone, and please state your name before you start speaking, or when you start speaking. Thank you.
Good evening, President Carver, board members, and Superintendent Finch. I'm Julie Stockwell, and at the last board meeting, the district began the formal conversation about putting an override on the state over the state-provided budget, something our voters have supported since 1991 until the last 2 years. While there seemed to be board consensus to seek an override to avoid catastrophic cuts to the district of $11 million each of the next 3 years, board members began tossing out a possible reduced amount as a possible way to gain more support among voters. And in the past, it's true, Deer Valley has asked for a smaller override amount. All of its overrides until 2015 were less than 15%. So why did the district seek a larger percentage that year? Well, beginning in 2009 and 10, the state legislature began cutting school funding as a result of the 2008 recession hurting state revenue, and the state continued those cuts for the next 4 or 5 years despite improvements in the economy. And by 2015, Deer Valley realized they needed to ask the voters if they would help, and voters said yes. Fast forward 10 years, the majority in the Arizona legislature is still cutting funding to public schools annually. Schools have no magic new revenue streams. If we want to keep the programs we have in Deer Valley, programs that not only educate but keep our communities safer and our home values higher, in Arizona, our only option is to request an override from our communities. A 13% override was tossed out as a possible figure on April 8th. At current market value, a 13% level would cost the average homeowner this year $30.08 a year, and less than 15%, but it would cost the district $4.4 million this year. Honestly, whatever decisions the district would have to make, all of us will bear that cost one way or another. I don't have children or grandchildren in the district. My primary stake is this. I know what that costs communities. The costs we save in not keeping children and young adults meaningfully engaged in activities always means increased safety problems in our neighborhoods. And districts that only pay for the bare minimum in school requirements for whatever reason always reduces property values. I'd like to know that my safety and my home values in this period of increased financial concern are safe. And so I am asking the board to vote to put a 15% override on November's ballot. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Erin Gervais, and my family has been in the Deer Valley School District for 30 years. Currently, I have 2 children at Highland Lakes Elementary School, and I'm asking the board to please vote yes for the override at the 15%. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Shannon Threadgill, and I am a parent of 2 students at Highland Lakes Elementary School. And I'm here to ask the board to please vote yes to put the 15% override on the ballot. Our students deserve it, our teachers deserve it, our communities deserve it, and us as parents, we deserve it. So I'm asking you to do that tonight. Thank you.
My name is Katie Mae Smith, and I'm a parent and PTSO president of DVUSD at a DVUSD school. I'm here tonight to urge you to vote yes to place the 15% M&O override back on the ballot. Anything less will still result in cuts to our students or that our students cannot afford. This isn't just a vote about funding. It's about priorities. It's about whether we as a community are willing to stand up for our students, support our teachers, and protect the programs that our children love. We know what's at stake, the slow unraveling of everything that makes a well-rounded public education possible. We've already seen what the override funds do, from attracting and retaining qualified teachers and staff to preserving arts, athletics, and interventions that change students' lives. The truth is, most people don't realize how deeply this impacts every classroom. We need to tell them, we need to come together, we need to work together, and we need to give our students the opportunity they deserve. So I'm asking you all to please vote yes on putting the override back on the November ballot, and I am asking you to please use your platform to help educate on how important this funding is. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Andrew Riley. I've got 2 students at Highland Lakes Elementary School as well. I am asking and urging the board to promote this override and put it back on the ballot. I think it's incredibly important, as everything else is being cut from our children's future, that we champion this cause going forward. I can't believe that we're having to stand here and ask to support our children for $30 a year for the average homeowner. It's less than it costs to take my 2 boys to McDonald's, and I don't get fries. It's ridiculous that I have to stand here and go on the record and ask for this, and I am quite interested to see how Paul Carver and Stephanie Simichek vote on this matter, as it's very important to me and every other parent who can't be here because they have to work 2 jobs to support their kids and to support our lifestyle and take care of our kids. It's ridiculous to me that there's an option to do anything less than 15%, but here I am urging you to make that choice because you have an option to request less. It's $30 a homeowner. What are we doing? Why is this happening? Why didn't we get this promoted and put through in the past? I love the ringtone. We're constantly seeing cuts to everything that supports our children in public education, to money going to schools that are not public, to schools that don't have to take our kids because they don't want to. And they're going to take our funds because they can. We can afford this. It's $30 per homeowner in the district. I don't understand how this is something I need to come speak about. I don't understand how we didn't pass it last year. I don't understand how we're accepting these cuts to our children's future. Everybody agrees that we're better off when people are smarter. Let's take care of our children and put resources in place so they can think critically. They can provide solutions to our society that desperately needs kids to think for themselves, so that we can put resources in place for kids who desperately need support to take care of themselves. And let's not have this be something that continually gets shut down and kept off our ballots. I'm quite interested to see how the board votes on this, and I look forward to seeing this on my ballot going forward. Thank you.
Mr. Miglorino.
President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch, as we presented at the April 8th meeting, this is to call for an election for this November 2025. It is still the administrative's recommendation to call for the 15% override. And for some of the reasons that we previously mentioned, but I'll just, for the sake of the conversation this evening, mention that all of our neighboring districts are currently have additional funding available to them, most of them at the 15% override. And all of the comparable districts, all large K-12 districts here in the Valley that we compete for in terms of talent, all have some form of M&O override, all of them at 15%, with the exception of the Peoria School District, and they are seeking a 15% override this coming November, going from 13% to 15%. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Anything from the board? Mr. Butfield.
In terms of public, we need this override, and we need it at maximum level.
Dr. Pack.
I would just like to reiterate that everybody up here cares about children, and many of us up here really care about teachers. The conversation of reducing the interest rate a teeny bit was not because we don't care about students and teachers. It was to appease the public that did not vote 2 times before. So third time's a charm, or third time's a strike. To make it look different would maybe open some voters' eyes. We can also champion and communicate all the great things in the district. I've certainly seen a lot of great things in the district with all the campus tours I've done. So please know that everybody on this board cares about children and teachers.
I just want to thank all of the parents who came out and spoke today on the override. It's really important to be here using your voice and let you know that it matters. So I just want to thank everybody for being here. Thank you.
Mr. Miglorino, if you don't mind, I want to pick your brain a little bit here so we can kind of have an educational session for everybody that's listening in and might be in the room. You and I spoke earlier this week trying to wrap my head around exactly what a 15% M&O means and how we come to $33 million. Correct me if I'm wrong, but our base level of funding from the state is $227 million, give or take $1 or $2. Yeah. And so the 15% that gets us to the $33 million is 15% of that $227 million. Correct?
Correct. It's 15% of what's known as the revenue control limit. But
Okay.
yes, that is correct.
So the $33 million is the size of the pie. And how much each of us contribute to that size of the pie is directly related to the value of our home and how many people are paying in. And what I mean by as this part of the valley continues to grow and there's more homes being built and more homeowners living in it and the values of our homes go up, it takes each of us contributing less in order to get to this whole pie. Would that be correct?
President Carver, that is correct.
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure that everybody understands the thought process behind this. And as we discussed, for every point we would reduce from 15%, that 1 percentage point is off of the $227 million equation. So that's where we get the $2.2 million per percentage point, which equates to, as we just found out, roughly $1 a month from each person that pays property tax. Correct? Because 30 to we were talking 15%, 30%, and the number was thrown out $30 a year for 13%. So half of that would be $15 to lose 1% off of it.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to split hairs here. It's it's $16 divided by 12 months, so it'd be a little more than $1.
Yeah.
But yes.
Okay. All right.
That's for each percentage, right?
Right.
So just to be there.
Okay. So yeah, to everybody's point, this keeps coming back because there seems to be a greater margin of folks in the community that aren't interested in supporting this for whatever their reasons are, and I'll be honest with you, it's unfortunate because to quite a few people's points tonight, you could chip in $20 for each percentage point, right? And make a huge difference in the lives of the children, or you could hold on to your $20 and see what exactly that difference makes in your personal life. I don't know how everybody else in the room lives their lives, but I'm the kind of guy that gives somebody $1 if they need it, and I'll go find a way to make mine later on down the road. Fact of the matter is that Deer Valley is funded at one of the lowest levels of any district in the state. Correct statement, Mr. Miglorino?
President Carver, so the state formula is uniform for everybody, but all of the local support that's provided and anything outside of that formula, that's where the difference is created. And yes, as a result of that, the amount of money that we spend per student is far less than the state average and is even less than those districts that we are in direct competition with.
And that's currently including the M&O that is due to expire, but that's currently including it. We're still on the bottom end.
That is correct.
Okay,
that's
so
with the full 15% override.
If we lose the M&O, we'll definitely be at the lower end, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. And, I could beat this drum all night long. I've got a laundry list of things in my head that I've discovered since this has become over the last 2.5 years. Anybody in the community that would like to have a conversation about what the district is or is not doing to justify expenses, I'm happy to share that information. We've talked about we're going to start a boundaries committee because there's some concern and interest in the community about whether or not we are maximizing our dollars in our classrooms. So we're moving on that. There's a boatload of things that we do, from the efficiency study that we are performing at a head count less than the efficiency study that was done a few years ago, to the boundary redraw, to the fact that the NST team and the Teachers Association has agreed to no raise this year so that we can manage our dollars better. So I would encourage, depending on how the vote goes tonight, if this ends up going forward, I would encourage my board mates to be proactive in the community and make sure that we help get education out there, as well as I would ask the district to help us share in that responsibility, because $33 million is a big difference. And with that, any further discussion for Mr. Miglorino? Dr. Pack.
I had something to add. Just for the record, for people listening, M&O, maintenance and operations. So all-day kindergarten, teacher salaries, the important stuff. And a couple emails that came through said the bond. It's not the bond. It's the M&O, maintenance and operations override. And I feel like we might have success by laying that out. So thank you. So again, the override is for maintenance and operations.
And just to top off on that real quick, the biggest comment that I had from the community when I was asking those that opposed it the last 2 years as to what the biggest thing that we could do to show that we're paying attention and show that we're listening so that we could move forward and try to stop bleeding, I was told we've already done that by separating the bond from the M&O. So we've taken the first step to acknowledge that this is a difficult time in the economy and difficult time for a lot of people. And we'll worry about the bond later. Let's worry about the M&O now. And just to reiterate what Dr. Pack said, the M&O is maintenance and operations. That has to do with teacher salaries. That has to do with maintaining our buildings, which does not include painting them and replacing air conditioners and replacing carpet. Those are capital improvements. That is bond money. That also doesn't include uniforms and instruments for students and all that kind of fun stuff. So again, happy to help anybody understand the differences. Just send me an email and I'll be happy to sit down with anybody that would like to explain, that would like that explained. Anybody else?
I just want to share something real
Yes,
quick.
Ms. Simchek.
Thank you. I get the opportunity to serve as a state representative for District 2, and I want to fill everybody in since we're all here in case you don't pay for the board reports. I was going to include this in my board report, but I want everyone to hear it right now. The state continues over and over and over to defund public education. I have seen it firsthand. We have presented bills. I want to share with me. We present bills the first 3 months, the first month and a half of the year. Every single bill that was presented down there to the Education Committee, which I get to serve on, was not heard in regards to pro-public education, ESA voucher accountability, just in general, anything that had to do with making things better for our students was not heard in committee. Therefore, it never made it to the floor. Therefore, we never were able to vote on it. And this is a strategy to defund public education. And I just want that on the record. And I want people to know there are people down there fighting for our kids and our teachers, but it's extremely difficult. And that's why you're not seeing it from the state, because they don't have any incentive right now to do so. They are literally bleeding out our budget with ESA vouchers. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simichek. All those in favor? I'm sorry. Oh, yep, sorry, we haven't. Yep, we have to get a corrected motion to make this legit. Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to adopt a resolution ordering and calling a special budget override election at 15% to be held in and for the district, and declaring the deadline for submitting arguments for and against the election to the Maricopa County Superintendent School Elections Office as of August 8th, 2025 at 5 p.m.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none? She's getting back in. There you go. She's got it. 4-0. Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Yeah, now we need to go back to the original agenda item, which is putting the M&O out there. So we already have a first and a second. Any discussion on the original? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Motion passes. On to consent agenda. Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board approve consent agenda items 5A through 5L.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Item 6A, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to pre-approve the addenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Item 6B, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to approve the fiscal year 26 classroom site fund plan.
Second.
Mr. Miglorino.
President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch, this is a little bit of a formality because in the salary recommendation that the board did approve back on April 8th, we did indicate what the classroom site fund contributions would be in the salary recommendation for next year. This just provides a little bit more detail. Wanted to point out that this maintains a 60% contribution of the classroom site fund for base salary for those that qualify, and a 40% for performance pay. The reason I clarify or want to make that distinction, I should say, is that some districts have adjusted those percentages. That's a legacy percentage that was in the previous classroom site fund voter approved initiative. Now being that has been replaced by legislative action, those percentages can be adjusted. Some districts have adjusted to be able to reduce the performance pay amount and increase the base pay amount for teachers. We are recommending to maintain the 60%, the 60-40 split, 60% in base pay, 40% in performance pay for next year. And we are using a small amount of carry forward to be able to maintain the same dollar amount that was projected for this year. So the dollar amount will remain at $7,610 per qualifying full-time equivalency person, which was the same amount in fiscal year 25. Performance pay will remain at $4,750 per qualifying teacher or FTE of full-time equivalency. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Thank you, Mr. Miglorino. Any discussion from the board for Mr. Miglorino? Seeing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Taylor. Item 6C, Dr. Pack.
I move that the governing board accept the administration's recommendation to approve the revised FY26 Negotiated Solution Team NST salary recommendation.
Second.
Mr. Miglorino. I'm sorry, 1 second. We have a public comment.
Can I please have Kelly Fisher come to the microphone, and the same admonition applies?
Good evening, Dr. Finch, President Carver, governing board members, and beloved DVUSD colleagues. My name is Kelly Fisher. I'm a veteran kindergarten teacher, and I currently and very proudly serve as the president of the Deer Valley Education Association. I'm here tonight to discuss the proposed hourly raise for our bus drivers. I want to be clear that the voices of the certified educators that I represent are in full support of our bus drivers. In fact, we support all classified employees receiving a raise, as we understand that they are sorely underpaid. On April 14th, the DVEA members of the NST were made aware of the Cabinet's decision to put this item on the agenda for tonight, and we were asked for any feedback. The following evening, April 15th, DVA held its April site leader meeting. I shared the information with our site leaders and gave them time to provide feedback and discuss with their colleagues. Here's the general concepts from the feedback. They were sympathetic to the emergency needs in transportation and understood the driver shortage. Furthermore, the group observed that the non-reverting cash account MIPS was being used to solve the situation. After discussing at the DVA's request, at the meeting, DVA's request is that the district give the same consideration of using non-reverting cash accounts or district additional assistance to eliminate the furlough day. Addressing this situation would prove that the district can get creative with various funding sources. DVA is asking, for the same consideration for the wide range of employees who are impacted by the furlough day, which means all impacted employees, not just the certified group. Taking this action would demonstrate that the district leadership respects and values all district employees. Thank you.
Mr. Miglorino.
President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch, as was mentioned, I do want to point out this is, I think, a little unusual because we did go through the negotiated solution teams process, the NST process, and did not, during what I would consider to be a difficult year because of the financial situation that we will have to endure next year. We made some tough decisions that impacted all of the employees in a very similar way. After that information was approved by the board, we received information from both neighboring districts of a significant pay increase for their bus drivers, significant meaning more than 20% difference from what we are offering. I wanted to mention our director, Mr. Franklin, is here. We've had numerous conversations about various employees that were seeking employment outside of our district because not only were they raising their starting pay, they were also giving credit for their years of service. So a 4-year veteran bus driver could not only get the $24, they would get 2% for each of their 4 years of service, which was a significant difference from what we were offering for them to return for next year. To avoid a mass exodus of employees both east and west, the two neighboring districts that were increasing their pay, we had what I would characterize as a difficult conversation in cabinet to bring forth a recommendation to reclassify our bus drivers from their current range of 28 to range 33, which will help. But it's still not going to be $24 an hour. There are some other differences that I think are worth noting. That would be that we pay for more days. The value of those days is about 7%. The difference between how many days we pay for our classified employees and, for example, the Peoria School District. But even adding the $2.03, we would be at $21.02 to start for bus drivers. And presently, we do not give credit for years of service. Compared to our neighbors at $24 in Peoria and $23.05 for Paradise Valley. So we're still going to be below those two other districts, but we think the culture of our transportation services and the additional days, those things combined will make for it to be less attractive for bus drivers to want to leave their current employment and still give us a fighting chance of recruiting, because even today we still probably need about 20 drivers to cover every route sufficiently. So we bring forth, I'll say reluctantly bring forth this recommendation. It is a reclassification. It does affect two different ranges within the Transportation Department, range 28 and range 29. And then as a result of that reclassification, we would add $2.03 per hour to every existing employee, which is essentially what the range adjustment is doing. And anybody that would drive a bus, we would create what we refer to as a premium rate, because we have some people that aren't in these ranges that would end up driving, and they fill in, quite regularly. I must admit that they would also receive the additional $2.03 per hour whenever they were driving a school bus to transport students. And we do bring it forth as an action item so that we can try and avoid or to make it known to our bus drivers that this is something that they can look forward to for next year, in hopes that they would not seek employment outside of the Deer Valley School District. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Any discussion from the board? I got you. So explain to all of us and those at home what the MIPS bucket is.
President Carver, so Medicaid in public school, or sometimes referred to as MIPS money, is money that we receive for providing services to eligible students. And those monies come from the federal government for services that we are providing to students. It's a non-reverting fund, as was mentioned by President Fisher, that the district has that we would use to afford this $400,000 anticipated cost. And it's one of the 5 funds that we use to also augment our maintenance and operation needs on an annual basis. So we have 5 different, we call them cash funds, which is a little bit slang, but they're special revenue funds technically, that we supplement our maintenance and operation budget with. We use half of the projected balance of those funds. So in the future, the MIPS funds are anticipated to potentially have some uncertainty to them. It is a federal program, but we only use 50% of the projected balance of those combined 5 cash funds. That's why we have some additional money that could go towards this cause.
Okay, and so bus drivers, what bucket do they fall under as far as expense versus? So we've got, I know that they're certified, right? But no, classified. Sorry, I get them confused, and some of you do too. So don't look at me like that. Don't be so judgmental. They are certified bus drivers. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
President Carver, yes, they have a special credential, right? So it's a CDL plus a certification from DPS to be able to transport students in a school bus. So they do have a special credential, but they are considered a classified employee, and they are not direct classroom instruction. So they fall in their own classification of transportation.
Okay, so it's neither classroom nor administration.
That
It's
is
transportation, which is an entirely separate animal. Okay. And I got to be careful how I do this because we can only talk about certain things. But to the point that President Fisher brought up, am I to understand that NST is wanting to revisit what's already been agreed?
President Carver, I don't want to speak for her because she's here. I think we reached out to the NST because this was outside of the process, and we shared with them what our recommendation was going to be for them, and we asked for input. We aren't really looking to renegotiate the salary recommendation per se. We're making a revision to it for this special purpose. Their feedback was they would love to, and we would all love to see that the furlough day was not part of the recommendation. And my response to them was, two things I think that are important. We don't know of any other factor in which we have a 20% differential between what we are proposing to pay somebody, what our neighboring districts are paying. In addition to this, the furlough day is necessary in order for us to balance the budget next year. So it'd be fiscally irresponsible for us to not include the furlough day because of the impact it has on the maintenance and operation budget that needs to be reduced by the $11 million for the first phase down of the M&O override not being renewed. To put that to quantify that into numbers, the furlough day itself is valued at $1.1 million towards the $11 million reduction that we need to make. So we still have other adjustments that are going to be required, and so that would be much more expensive than even what we're proposing with the bus drivers, obviously for a smaller group of people.
And one last question that I can think of currently, the $400,000 that we need in order to offset this imbalance in pay for our bus drivers, where does that come from moving forward after this one-time use of the MIPS?
President Carver, we are proposing that it would actually continue to be provided from the Medicaid and Public Schools Fund beyond just this 1 year. I will tell you that there probably will be a little bit of a offset. One of the billable services to be able to get reimbursed for MIPS comes from our bus drivers that transport students. So since we're giving the raise to everybody that's a bus driver, we can't use federal funds and get reimbursed with federal funds. So the offset would be we find something else to be able to provide the raise, and then the $400,000 replaces that somewhere else in our budget. So once that transaction happens, then whatever is being funded with the $400,000 would continue to be from the MIPS proceeds.
I understand. Thank you. Any further discussion from Mr. Miglorino?
I could add one thought. This process, I don't like to do it this way. I really trust the NST process, and I put value in it. As you know, I talk a lot about that, about how we need to stay in our lanes. But that being said, I think everyone that participated in the NST process did it with an open mind and obviously wanted to help the district succeed. This information came after. So when it came after the process, that really puts the onus on me, whether to bring it forward or not. And I, in general, do not like to do that. Historically, I haven't done it. This may be the first time. But the thought behind it was our immediate neighbors, our immediate competition jumped up their rates, and they are actually in worse shape than we are, but we did not want to become them and trade a portion of our drivers with them. So it was a box that we got stuck in, and unfortunately, this is the only way I think we can at least be competitive, keep our drivers, and hopefully we can, if we pass our M&O, that will help solve our future problems, because an $11 million problem becomes a $22, becomes a $23 million problem. So hopefully we can stop the bleeding in the future. But I want to thank the NST team for going through the process and following the process. I appreciate that. But I think at this time, this is a wise choice.
Just really quick, do you think the MIPS money is that sustainable? I know you're saying that it's a pot. Does it continue to get added to each year out of this? Will this be sustainable, I guess, for the future? I know that you were looking at it to continue.
President Carver, Ms. Simicek, I think at this point there's a lot of uncertainty around some of the federal funding programs, but I think it is sustainable for the foreseeable future right now.
Had a question?
Yes, Dr. Pack.
Are there any bus drivers in the room?
Well, technically, I would say yes. I think to put Daniel on the spot, I think he qualifies. He just recently been promoted to a supervisory position, but as has been noted, most of the people that have the credential end up driving regularly. Did you drive today? Not today. Well, see, we had a good day.
And then follow-up question, more of a newbie question. Does the district pay for their CDL licensure?
President Carver, Dr. Pack, yes. We have our own trainers, and so we provide the training and the licensing for them to get that credential.
And one more question. The MIPS money, before we took the money from that for the bus drivers or proposed, is there more MIPS money out there that we can maybe, when we have our study session on the budget, that we could tap into more of it?
President Carver, Dr. Pack, yes. So there's 50% of the combined balance of the 5 cash funds is what we use to augment the maintenance and operation budget each year. And so that is in part of our plan for fiscal year 26. So to answer your question, there's about half of it of a combined balance. But I will caution you, there's not 50% of that revenue on an ongoing basis. That's why we only use half of the percentage. We used to use 33% of the combined balance, and when we fell on some difficult financial times, we increased that to 50%, and it's been 50% for probably better than a decade now, maybe even longer than that. So, but yes, there's about 50% of those combined funds. So about 50% of the MIPS money is not being committed at this point. Less the $400,000, which needs to be still considered this evening.
Thank you.
The part of the process of cutting close to 18, I'd probably going to land around 18 million. My theory is, or my philosophy is, to land the plane softly. There's no guarantee in November that we will pass. So I have to also keep dollars back just in case. That's what you pay me for. So I'm trying to land the plane softly. And if we have to strike out again, then there'll be even more tougher decisions ahead of us. So I don't recommend that we raid the piggy bank out of the gate and just pray that the voters pass it. That is an option, but that's not what I'm comfortable with.
Thank you, Dr. Finch. Ms. Simicek?
I think you just answered my question. I was going to talk about alternative ways for the furlough day for our teachers, and you had also mentioned, Dr. Pack, that could we use that money? Sounds like we only have about, you said 400,000 in it. the furlough day was 2.2 million, or what?
1.1.
1.1.
1.1. Sorry. Okay. Thank you.
Anything further from Mr. Miglorino on this topic? Okay. And yeah, we need to vote on that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Any opposed?
Passes 3-0 and 1 abstain.
Okay.
You clicked on abstain.
It
Do you
never
want to
came
change
up.
that?
Change it, please. Never came up.
Would you like to change it to?
How did you vote? Aye. Okay.
4-0. Thank you.
It passes 4-0. Thank you.
Okay. On to preview item 7A. Would this be Mr. Miglorino or Dr. Zerbach?
I'd love to hand it off if you're asking me, but I think I'll take it. President Carver.
Okay, thank you.
President Carver, members of the board, Dr. Finch, we bring before you this evening as a preview item, so no decision to be made, but a update to the fee schedule for next year. So we put it in the same format that it's been for the last several years, but there are some noted adjustments. And this is also part of our strategy to help make up for some of the reduction in resources that we'll have for next year. We are proposing an increase to our athletic participation fee and to the cap as a result of that, as both the individual cap and family cap, and the addition of a marching band per season fee, which does not currently exist. Dr. Zerbach was kind enough to do a comparison of what other fees were for our neighboring districts, and we did note that our district was below what other districts were charging for fees. So that is one of the adjustments, or one of the reasons for making the adjustment as well. In addition, some of the credit fees, credit recovery fees would increase slightly from $175 to $200, again, in line with what we thought was more akin to our neighboring districts. And then a slight increase to the iPad Technology Protection Plan, which the iPad part is a smaller component of it now, so it's Technology Protection Plan because most of the technology is in the form of Chromebooks, but a slight increase from $25 to $35. And the note that's being passed to me is I think it's a special deal. If you act today, you get maybe some free shipping or something to come along with it. The marching band amount needs to be adjusted to $100, not $200, as we have it shown here. Again, as a preview item, we can get that corrected. I apologize for my mistake or my error. Again, this is regrettable that we have to consider some of these things, but it also takes into consideration the feedback that we've received through other input processes like the budget committee and the surveys that we've done, and the comparative data that we've compiled to be able to make sure that we're doing as much as we can to recoup some of the expenses that we will not have available to us through the loss of the M&O override for next year. And I'd be happy to answer any questions the board might have.
Any questions for Mr. Miglorino? Semichek?
Thank you. I just wanted to point out that unfortunately this is what happens when we don't pass our bond and overrides, and we've been working really hard to try to find ways to not feel like we're gutting certain things completely, but this is part of a solution to make sure that we can still allow our students to have these wonderful activities in sports and to be number one because they are amazing athletes in this district, but also that there's going to be some pain that goes along with this, and all the more reason for us to get out there and knock those doors for this for the override. Thank you.
Dr. Pack?
Mr. Migliorini, correct me if I'm right or wrong. Parents can use the school tax credit to help pay for those sports fees. Yes?
President Carver, Dr. Pack, that is correct.
Any further discussion? Thank you, Mr. Migliorini. We appreciate that. Item 7B, proposed Arizona School Board Association 2026 political agenda. For a couple of you, this will be new, but for those of you at home, it looks like this. It's a 2-page document. It is in the agenda if you be able to preview it at your leisure and reach out to your school board members with your input. So this in its entirety is by subject the platform or legal platform, lobbying platform, if you will, from the ASBA that they go to the Capitol with to see what they can get added to different bills and different things that are going on down there that their membership find important. Now, when you read through this, for those of you that will take the time to do it, you have to understand that the ASBA is made up of school districts from across the state. And in some cases, there are a great deal of them that have a different set of priorities than maybe those of us in Deer Valley. For those of you that remember last year when we had this conversation, the board now has an opportunity between now and Mrs. Taylor would like before the end of next week for us to review these and come up with anything additional that we feel that we would like to have added or support for any particular items in here. What's going to happen in, I believe it's September, our ASBA delegate, Dr. Pack, will go to the conference and participate in voting on whether or not to accept or decline every line item you see on here. It's a very long, drawn-out process, but we can also consider items that we bring. We brought one last year, suffering from old age right now. I can't remember the wording of it, but we brought one last year, and I sat in on the legislative committee, which reviews all of the input from its member districts before it gets to this point. And we were able to get ours, one of the 5 items that we brought to the ASBA, added to the platform to bring to the delegation to have it voted on from the body of the whole. So we can make a difference and we can have a voice. The homework for the board members is to review this document, find anything that you think piques your interest that we should support as a board. And if you don't find anything or think that there is something lacking, formulate the best way that you can your proposition of what we need to take to the ASBA to offer them to add it to the platform. What we will do, the next meeting, maybe the meeting after that, next meeting, okay, what we will do is we're going to have a discussion between the hopefully 5 of us in attendance, and we're going to discuss our position on the 5 or 6, just come up with 5 or 6, okay, of these items that you agree with and or of your own, and then we will whittle it down, because if we all come up with 5 of our own, we're going to have 30 fresh ones, and we're not going to bring 30 fresh ones to the delegation. So we're going to have a conversation and try to make sure that we've got the wordsmithing correctly and put that all together so that we can submit it to the ASBA so that it'll be there when we attend, or actually I'm on the legislative committee again. When I attend the committee meetings, we'll be able to speak to it intelligently about what our options are and what it is that we'd like to see changed at the ASBA. Questions, comments, concerns? Dr. Pack?
Just for the viewers out in TV land, Arizona School Board Association. We have a lot of acronyms in education, so
Yes.
Arizona School Board Association.
Good call out. Anybody else? Clear as mud? If we have questions throughout the week, you can direct them to Ms. Taylor. She's done this once or twice, and she can point you in the right direction to make sure that we're ready for our next meeting to have a beneficial discussion and get that taken care of. That gets us to call to the public. Do we have any more speakers tonight? No? Then on to governing board reports. Ms. Simichek.
Thank you. I wanted to take another few moments to thank my fellow board members for supporting the yes to place the M&O override on the ballot. this November. The override is essential for the continued success of our students and our district, and I believe that our vote speaks volumes about our commitment to the success of our students and our teachers. It's really more than a line item on an agenda. It's a statement about the values that we share as a board and as a community. And we're sending our community a message that we believe every student in this district deserves the best possible education. It's not just basic resources to advance the court. It's not just basic resources, but opportunities that really allow our students to thrive. Extracurricular programs, updated classroom technology, and really making sure that our teachers are paid well, because they are such an essential, important piece to our students and make a difference every single day. It's an investment in our future, and as one community member shared tonight, it's in the next investment in the next generation of our students and the community members that will go on to make really positive impact on our world and our communities. So we're ensuring that our district this way can continue to meet the needs of our students and then offer them that well-rounded, high-quality education that every single one of them deserves. It's not, just a financial commitment for our community. We're asking for their trust as well. When we ask for something like this, we're asking them to partner with us to create that sustainable future for our schools. And moving forward, I know we're going to continue to work together to ensure that this message is clear. And I just want to reiterate how grateful I am and how important this vote was for all of us tonight, and thank the parents and the families for being here. And we're in this for the long haul, as we all should be. That's why we ran for this position. We ran for students. We ran for teachers. So these are the decisions that we need to be making. And I'm just really proud to serve alongside everybody here today. And I plan on joining with our community throughout the next several months before the election to knock doors. I encourage everybody to get out there. We need to get our voices. This is an opportunity to go out and seek people in our community, answer those questions of their concerns, share with them what is different about not having the bond on this ballot. And how important it is for our students, and other wonderful points that were brought up that lots of times when you're talking with people, they don't really take into consideration, like the property value of their home. It's really important. High quality schools will allow you to, it's an investment in your own personal property in your homes. People want to move to districts and communities that have wonderful public education programs, and we will continue to fight for public education programs. It is essential for our community's growth and for the future of this country. And with that, I really wanted to kind of just focus on that tonight, just getting excited for graduations coming up, lots of student celebrations. I was able to attend my daughter's Honor Society promotion where they got to induct new students into the program at Barry Goldwater. It was wonderful, and just excited for the dance shows and the finishing up of our sports, and the celebrating our seniors that are getting ready to graduate and go on into this big world out there. And I feel like DVUSD has done a wonderful, I can personally attest for our seniors. So I'm very grateful, and thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Simchek. Mr. Botfield.
First, I want to second everything that Ms. Simchek just said and agree with her. A teacher changed my life, and I respect teachers. And the fact that the bond and override failed to pass this year is not a reason to reject passing the bond this coming year. We've got to do it. And if anybody needs help in promoting it, please contact me. That's number one. Number two, I was fortunate enough to attend a ceremony which celebrated the substitutes in the Deer Valley District. And they are great. And they did a good job. And you should be celebrating everybody who teaches anything. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Butfield. Dr. Pack?
People say I'm half crazy to be on a school board. I know I'm half crazy because I spent my entire spring break visiting schools in the Deer Valley District, but it was so fun. That was a highlight. One of the things I really love about being on the school board is seeing teachers in action and kids loving their learning. So on Thursday, April 10th, before I went to all the schools, I was asked to speak to a public group in Cave Creek, and I was telling them all the great things in the district. So it's kind of exciting to go speak to community members because they want to know what's going on. And when you meet them in their neck of the woods, they really appreciate it. So while I was there, after my turn to speak, I did get to hear Maricopa County Superintendent Shelley Boggs speak, and it was exciting. She presented what her role is in relation to school boards. So I learned a little bit more too. On Monday, April 14th, I visited Arrowhead Elementary, and Principal Jackie DeTore was lovely at that K-6 school. I had shout out to a para that I know there who was working in the garden. It was pretty neat. There was also, the kids love their teachers. There was a little baby chick that got out of its cage and ran straight to the teacher. So all the kids and the chicks love the teachers. Then I got to visit my alma mater, Deer Valley High School, and I'm proud to say this is the only time I've been in the principal's office, Mr. Riskelli's office. It was nice to catch up with him and discuss, back in the day, the culture of once a Skyhawk, always a Skyhawk, and how to maintain that among this staff and teachers there, because that's a special place about Deer Valley High School. Then I went on to visit Park Meadows, where I went to 4th grade for a little while. And while Ms. Kim Lanise was not there, Ms. Kelly Walters stepped in and took me on a grand tour. I especially liked seeing the SCORE classrooms for our kiddos with autism. That was really neat to see. And then in between visiting classes, I came and visited the district office and signed lots of vouchers. And thank you for Mr. Miligrino for explaining the lunch refund program. Parents, check your auto pay. So then on Tuesday, April 15th, since I already had my taxes done, I attended the substitute recognition ceremony, and that was very exciting to clap for teachers. We all know as teachers, the substitutes step in for you and save your day. So that was very nice. I did attend a Zoom meeting that evening by the Coalition School Boards of Excellence, How to Improve Your District's Curriculum. And there's a great speaker whose name escapes me right now, but I did take some notes for that because let's get our curriculum and our grades up. I might run out of time here. Wednesday on 4/16, I did visit Canyon Springs and met Principal Aldred. The STEAM classes, 2nd and 3rd grade classes were great. The Bright Beginnings kindergarten was great. I saw 2 little girls there that I know, so shout out to girls. And they told me, I asked them, what do you think of your school? We love our class. We love our teacher. So then also seeing the makerspace was really exciting, and that teacher explained all the cool little robotics and things they're doing in there. It was very exciting. Then I went to Norterra Canyon and saw the principal, vice principal, and those ladies jive well. They are a dynamic duo team. It was really exciting. You could just feel the energy when you walked on campus, like, I want to work there. It's just exciting to see how they work together. And the 3 first grade classes, a shout out to, they had their sound walls up, not just word walls, but sound walls. Yay. And the makerspace had sewing machines in it. That was so exciting. So it was neat. They were doing something for refugees that they make stuff and donate to them. So it was like a community service project as well. It was very exciting. I will say their playground swings need oil. Squeak, squeak. So just a little suggestion. Then on Thursday, April 17th, I did sit down with Dr. McCusker and bent her ear for a couple hours. And she did explain everything, student support services, and SPED, and all the hoops you have to jump through to meet all the regulations and keep your ducks in a row. So I appreciated that. And that's a lot of work. Then I did visit Highland Lakes, and it was great. Happy to see Mr. Anderson before he set sail onto retirement. He seems like a really neat guy. His office is really cool. And then I did make one stop at Barry Goldwater High School to see Ann E's closet and the prom dresses, and I got to witness a young lady choose a beautiful prom dress. There was 2. I was kind of leaning towards the cream color, but she picked the blue one. It was just beautiful on her. And I think I have some prom heels that have been worn once that I'm going to donate. Forgot to bring those. And then wrapping it up in 15 seconds, I attended the Arizona Department of Education training called School Board School. It was fantastic. It was all about improving student learning outcomes. And then I did jump on a Zoom with Tiana Sanchez from the Reading League and ADE. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pack. Let's see, since last time we met, I was able to attend the pop luncheon here at the district office. That's always a good time to see the PTSA presidents from around the district come and get their their quarterly data dump from the administration to see what's going on in Deer Valley and any challenges that we might be facing that we can try to overcome together. I was excited to hear that my request at the last pop meeting for some of the PTAs to try to partner with schools that may not be blessed enough to have one. There has been some attempts for them to reach out to those schools and try to help them reignite to their PTAs in the local environment. So that's good. That's the way that we do this. I was able to attend sub recognition with these two folks, and that's always good to come and to see and hear the amazing work that our subs do. I'm sure the teachers over there can justify that subs are worth their weight in gold sometimes. Yeah. Yes. No. Okay. Yeah, I'll take that as an affirmative. Okay. I was able to get up to Anthem and visit a few of our schools, Anthem School, Gavilan Peak, Boulder Creek, and Diamond Canyon. When I was at Gavilan Peak, I was speaking to Miss Elms about the Mandarin program. I know that's on everybody's mind lately, where we're at with that. And we had a brainstorming session of what it looks like if we're not able to hit the threshold that we need in order to actually staff a full kinder class, whether that's combining K1 or offering it as a special or what does it look like? So the oars aren't out of the water on that project. And if you're a parent thinking about taking your child to Gavilan for Mandarin, do it. Sign up, especially for kinder. We just need to try to bridge a gap here between now and when all of the housing starts to get developed up there here in the next couple of years. And so let's do what we have to. Let's think outside the box and let's make sure that we offer every opportunity to the kids that want it to participate in such an amazing program. As for those of you that have been here since the awards program noticed, we have quite a reputation building across the state of becoming state championships in the Mandarin contest. So we need to do what we can to support that. While I was on my visit up north, I was able to visit with some principals that really get it. And it's all about the culture, right? The way that we defeat the declining enrollment, the way that we defeat so many of the ailments that plague our schools isn't always about having the special course or the big shiny object at the front of the door. It's about having the hearts in the classrooms and on the campus to where the kids and the parents feel that. And those folks aren't easy to find. We're blessed here in Deer Valley. Out of our 42 schools, we have a significant number of folks that aren't just a heartbeat, they're a heart. And you should be commended for everything that you do every day. And for those of you in the community that don't know what I'm speaking of, take some time and go visit some schools, volunteer, get in the classrooms, and you'll see we're not a district of heartbeats, we're a district of hearts. Speaking just a little bit more on the M&O, I want to try to drive home to everybody that the board, there's a lot of angst out there, right? When we put this thing out there, especially since it's failed twice, there's a lot of people out there really upset that we vote out there again. But this is an opportunity for the community to decide what they want their school district to look like. Now, when I ran the first time, going on 4 years ago now, I told everybody that I believe that the schools are the center of the community. And everybody cheered that. Everybody rah-rahed that. Yeah, well, the schools can't be the center of the community if it's a tin shed out in the middle of the reading out of textbooks in the 21st century. Okay, so we're either in or we're out. And I also said during my campaign to everybody in the room, and those of you that know who you are, that I didn't understand why kids needed to pay $300 to play a sport. We pay a lot in taxes. Why isn't that covered? Well, Mr. Carver, it actually is covered if we have the M&O, the greatest majority of it. But now that it's not, there's going to be those kids that won't be able to participate. Why? Because we have a significant number of people in our community that have already paid for their children to go through and don't think that they need to continue to pay it forward. And that breaks my heart, because when their kids were in, there were people that were already here for 20 or 25 years before them that had paid. And now we need to continue to do it. Otherwise, what is it that our community looks like 10, 15, 20 years from now when we get rid of all of these amazing programs that Deer Valley is known for, simply because people couldn't find a way to continue doing what we've been doing for as long as most of us that are here can remember. So with that, God bless you all and keep up the good work. You guys are amazing. Dr. Finch?
I want to recognize our Boy Scout in the room. This is what actually a board meeting's supposed to look like. You came to the right one. The national, there's a bunch of national honorees this month. I think school bus drivers today, I think. Teachers are next month. Admin assistants, they're coming up. I think that's tomorrow. Note to self. And we all know who's the queen. Sheila, everybody on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sheila. People ask me what I've been doing this job for 26 years. What do you do? And I have a little wristband that's DVUSD. What would Sheila do? That's what I look for when I want to know the answer. So she's a great team member and really appreciate her. And we have great. I think Mr. Carver hit the nail on the head, and Mr. Miglerino mentioned it as well. Our people are the difference between us and our competition. And culture eats everything else for breakfast, and it's so important that we value each other and feel that we're all contributing and going in the same direction. And it's great to be a part of a district that gets that. I also want to give a shout out to Desert Mountain School. They had their first agricultural day last week. It was pigs and cows. No, they didn't have any cows. Next year they're going to have some cows, horses, ponies, chickens. It was really cool. The kids really got into it, and I think that's going to launch a whole new angle for that school, and we're really excited for Jessica to push that forward. So congratulations, Desert Mountain. Make sure you hit it next year. I'm sure it's going to double in size. It was well attended. The next, I think Kayla might have mentioned in the award ceremony, if you did a chance, you can rewind it on our website. We had a Madron's freshman that won, Genevieve, that won the national competition. And so I actually interview her in the podcast. So if you want to learn more about her Madron journey, you can listen to the podcast. I also interviewed some Gavilan Peak student and a teacher today, so it should be pretty cool. Mr. Salmon and I are going to put it together in the next couple of days and be out by Friday, probably. I don't know if you know this, but we only have 5 weeks left of school. 5. What happened to this year? Man, I don't know if it's me or what, but the years just fly by, and they seem to go faster. Especially when you're really making a difference. And Mr. Carvey asked me if we were going to win more than 70 state titles this year, and I said, 3 years ago it was 30. The next year was 50. Last year was 70. I think we need 90 this year, so I'm throwing a shout out to the kids. Get busy. We got to reach 90 state titles next year. That'll be a record. I don't know if we can pull that off. Thanks to Anna Backstrom. She's really the brains and the brawn behind the art show that is held in Anthem. And thanks to Dr. Galligan, make some great picks this year. And they didn't tell everybody, but we actually buy that from those students. So each student winner, and if you notice, there were 5 genres in 5, or media, I guess is the proper term, and 5 different schools. So each student gets $200. So you want to be friends with that person when they receive their check. Annie's Closet's going well, as Dr. Pack mentioned. The prom folks are all gearing up. We have 4 proms this weekend. So stay off the sidewalk. Here they come. It'll be a fun time for the kids. Graduation has also been switched to Desert Diamond from State Farm. So that'll be coming. And then just today, Mr. Carver volunteered to speak at our Taipei Mandarin camp at Boulder Creek High School on May 30th. So I don't know if he's going to do his speech in Mandarin or not. I'm kind of looking forward to that. It'll be on Friday. So if you want to see some of the great culture, you're welcome to stop by on those Thursdays and Fridays. Wednesday and Thursday, and then Friday's the graduation. The actual camp and activities go on during the time, and it's worth seeing. It's really cool. And I want to thank board too for supporting the override, and it's our job now to get it done. That's it. Thank you.
Future board meetings can be found on the district website. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Had to use it.
Mr. Miglerino, you have those documents for